Most people think kidney damage always comes with pain, but that belief may be exactly why so many people miss it. Because one of the most dangerous things about kidney problems is how quietly they can build. The CDC and NIDDK both warn that early chronic kidney disease often has no clear symptoms. So while people wait for pain, the body may already be leaving clues in the mirror, in your shoes, on the scale, and even in the toilet. And here is the part most people never hear soon enough. There is one simple 10-second check you can use this week to spot a pattern earlier. It is not a diagnosis. It is a practical way to stop overlooking the signals. I will give it to you before we reach number 1, because the last few signs are the ones people normalize the most. And if you are over 60, or caring for someone who is, this matters even more. Because many people in that stage of life already have at least one quiet risk factor on the table, like high blood pressure, diabetes, heart problems, or years of relying on pain relievers more often than they realize. Your kidneys do much more than most people think. They help remove waste, clear extra fluid, support mineral balance, and help your body keep important systems stable. So, when they start struggling, the signs usually do not arrive all at once. They show up as small patterns. And those patterns are easy to dismiss when you see them one at a time. So let's count down 18 warning signs of kidney damage you may notice on or through your body. Number 18 is no obvious sign at all. And that may be the most dangerous one. Because early kidney disease is often silent. A lot of people wait for something dramatic, but many people do not notice clear symptoms until kidney disease is more advanced. That is why waiting for a loud warning can cost you time you did not realize you were losing. Number 17 is looking unusually pale or washed out. Many people blame that on age, stress, poor sleep, or just having a long week. Sometimes that is true, but kidney disease can contribute to anemia, and anemia can show up as low energy, less stamina, and a paler appearance over time. It is not the kind of sign that makes people panic. It is the kind of sign people explain away. And that is exactly why it matters. Number 16 is nausea, or just feeling vaguely unwell in a way that is hard to explain. Not dramatic vomiting. Just that off feeling where food sounds less appealing, your stomach feels unsettled, and you cannot quite put your finger on what is wrong. This is usually more of a later warning than an early one. When kidney trouble becomes easy to feel, it may already be further along than people think. Number 15 is poor appetite. A lot of people brush this off as stress, aging, or a bad week, but when waste starts building up, food can feel less appealing, and the body can start telling you something is off long before you know exactly why. For older adults, this matters even more because poor appetite does not just affect weight. Over time, it can affect strength and recovery too. Number 14 is muscle cramping, especially at night. If you have ever woken up with a sudden cramp in the calf or foot, you know how easy it is to blame it on age or dehydration. Sometimes that is all it is, but when cramping keeps happening alongside other signs, it deserves more respect than people usually give it. Number 13 is poor sleep. Poor sleep does not just make you tired the next day. It makes everything feel harder, and it makes it easier to ignore health changes because you feel worn down all the time anyway. Number 12 is trouble concentrating. That foggy, slowed down feeling where your mind just does not feel as sharp. You read something and have to read it again. You lose your train of thought more easily. People often laugh this off, but when brain fog starts showing up together with fatigue, poor sleep, swelling, or urine changes, it should not be shrugged off. Number 11 is deep fatigue or low energy. Not just feeling tired after a long day. I mean that heavy, dragged-down feeling where your body seems to have less reserve than it used to. Even simple tasks feel bigger. What many people call just getting older can sometimes be the body asking for a closer look. This is where the picture starts getting bigger. Kidney trouble does not stay neatly inside the kidneys. Over time, it can affect energy, sleep, concentration, fluid balance, appetite, and the body's internal chemistry. That is one reason these signs are so easy to miss. They do not always look like one disease. They look like life getting harder in small ways. If this countdown is already making you think about yourself or someone close to you, type "check" in the comments. It is simple, easy to remember, and it may help you come back to this list before you ignore another clue. Number 10 is dry, itchy skin. Many people try to solve that with lotion alone. And sometimes dry skin really is just dry skin. But sometimes the skin is not the main issue. Sometimes the deeper issue is that the body is no longer handling waste and mineral balance the way it should. So if itchy skin shows up with other changes on this list, it deserves more than a cream and a guess. Number 9 is needing to urinate more often, especially at night. A lot of people assume that is just age. Sometimes it is. But when it becomes a repeated pattern, it can also be one of the ways kidney trouble starts showing up in daily life. And for older adults, this sign has a second consequence people rarely talk about. More trips to the bathroom at night can also mean worse sleep and more fatigue. Number 8 is urine that looks red, tea-colored, or darker than usual. Number 7 is seeing blood in the urine. Those signs do not automatically mean chronic kidney disease. They can happen for different reasons, but they should never be ignored. When urine changes keep happening, the smart move is not guessing. It is getting checked. Number 6 is foamy urine. Not just a few bubbles that disappear quickly, but urine that repeatedly looks frothy or foamy. This matters because ongoing foam can be a clue that protein is leaking into the urine. That is one reason urine albumin testing matters so much. Many people never connect what they see in the toilet with what may be happening in the kidneys. And now, before we go into the top 5, here is the 10-second kidney check I promised you at the beginning. Use this once or twice a week. Look at your eyes in the morning. Look at your ankles or sock marks later in the day. Look at your urine for repeated foam, blood, or darker color. And look at your weight if it jumps suddenly in a way that feels more like fluid than body fat. That is it. It is not a diagnosis. It is a pattern check. And for a lot of people, that simple habit may be enough to stop normalizing signs that have been building quietly in plain sight. Now let's go into the top 5. Number 5 is sudden weight gain that does not feel like body fat. It feels more like fluid. That is an important distinction. Fat gain usually builds gradually. Fluid can show up much faster. Clothes feel tighter. The face looks puffier. Shoes feel wrong. When weight changes quickly and swelling is part of the picture, that deserves attention. Number 4 is swelling in the hands or fingers. Rings feel tighter. Fingers look puffy. A lot of people assume this is just heat, salt, or age. Sometimes it is. But when the kidneys are not handling fluid well, the hands can become another place. The body quietly shows it. Number 3 is swollen feet, especially when socks leave deep marks or your shoes suddenly feel tighter. This is one of those signs people live with for a long time before they take it seriously. They buy looser shoes. They stop wearing certain socks. They blame the weather. But when your body keeps holding on to fluid, your feet often tell the story before your words do. Number 2 is swelling at the ankles. This is where many people get fooled. They blame the weather. They blame age. They blame standing too long. And yes, sometimes those things do matter. But healthy kidneys help clear extra fluid. When they cannot do that well, fluid can start collecting in the lower body, and the ankles are often where people notice it first. And number 1 is morning puffiness around the eyes. This may look minor, but it can be one of the most revealing clues in the whole countdown. Because when the kidneys are leaking protein into the urine, that change in fluid balance can show up around the eyes, especially in the morning. And that is exactly why so many people miss it. They think it is bad sleep, allergies, age, or a salty dinner. But when it keeps happening together with swelling, foamy urine, or weight changes, it should not be brushed off. Now step back and look at the pattern. Puffy eyes, swollen ankles, tighter shoes, puffy fingers, foamy urine, sudden fluid weight gain, more trips to the bathroom at night, and tiredness that seems out of proportion to your day. That is the kind of cluster people should respect. So what should you do with all this? First, do not try to diagnose yourself from one sign. Puffy eyes can have other causes. Swelling can also come from heart, liver, vein, or medication issues. Blood in the urine can have more than one cause. What matters most is the pattern, especially if you also have diabetes or high blood pressure. Those are two of the biggest risk factors for chronic kidney disease. Second, ask about the two tests that matter most: a blood test for eGFR and a urine test for albumin, often measured as UACR. Those are two of the main tools used to detect and monitor chronic kidney disease. A lot of people wait for symptoms. The smarter move is to look for kidney stress before the body is forced to make it obvious. Third, use one simple grocery store habit this week. Check the sodium line. Check the added sugars line. And if kidney health is already on your radar, check the ingredient list too. This is where the label matters more than the front of the package. For people with kidney concerns, added phosphorus in processed foods can matter, and words with phos in the ingredient list can be a useful clue. The point is not to become afraid of food. The point is to stop letting packaged foods hide the real story behind nice marketing. And one more thing that gets overlooked. Review your medicines regularly with your doctor or pharmacist, especially if you use pain relievers often. Common medicines like ibuprofen or naproxen are easy to treat as harmless because they are familiar. But familiar does not always mean gentle on the kidneys. Now, here is the easiest next step. If you want a simple reminder for yourself, comment "test" below. That one word can remind you to ask about eGFR and urine albumin, and it may help someone else in the comments know exactly what question to ask next without overthinking it. And if this video gave you value, share it with one friend, one sibling, one spouse, or one parent close to your age. Because sometimes the warning that helps the most is not the loudest one. It is the quiet one that reaches the right person early enough to matter.